Alright, yo guys, what's going on? It's you and MED, and I'm coming at you with a post-trade mock draft. So in the past 2 weeks I've been gone. We've had the 49ers trade up with the Dolphins trade up with the Eagles, and about an hour ago we had Sam Darnold being traded to Carolina for a second pick, second and a fourth, I believe, next year, and a sixth this year, which I think is an absolute steal for Carolina. The position they were in, they were really going to struggle to pick up a QB in this draft. And I still think Sam Darnold's got boatloads of potential. If you look at what Sam Darnold's worked with, he's worked with an incompetent head coach that does not know how to handle a QB, let alone a team. His best receiver has been Robbie Anderson. His best running back's only good behind O lines and is rather on the older side of things. And his O line is currently only just getting built, so he's had the perfect move here, moving away to Carolina, and that sort of helps make mock drafts a bit more easier because one, two, and three are at the minute pretty much set in stone. It's going to be a QB. Which QBs? We won't know, but as you can probably tell by the tone of my voice, it's relatively late. It's 20 to 11 here in the UK. The news broke about an hour ago about Sam Darnold, and my entire family's asleep, so I'm going to have to do this rather quietly. Number one pick won't change, never will change. Anybody not picking Trevor Lawrence, they're either just having a lot of fun and going for randomness, or just trying to piss people off, really. Number two, Zach Wilson. Well, these picks are both pretty much set in stone. Trevor Lawrence, number one prospect in the draft, number one prospect since Andrew Luck. Zach Wilson, his pro day did nothing but enhance his stock. That throw right at the end of the play action, stunning. It's pretty set that these two are going to be 1 and 2, especially with the trade for Sam Darnold now. Number three, this is when the draft sort of really begins to start, and there's been a lot of chatter about Mac Jones to the Niners because of his accuracy. I hate that. Is that you saying that makes it seem like, sorry, pardon me. These people saying that, I know they've got like close contacts with the Niners and that, but that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. If Trey Lance and Justin Fields, it's not like they have bad accuracy, is it? They're both pretty accurate themselves, but you get the mobility quality with it. So I do not see this being Mac Jones. It should be Trey Lance, in my opinion. He's not going to start straight away. I don't think whoever you take here is going to start straight away. You're going to start Jimmy G for another year, at least. Trey Lance, I think, is the best prospect out of the three QBs on the board in Mac Jones, Justin Fields, and Trey Lance. I think he's got the best potential out of the three. I don't think he isn't currently the best, I'd say. He is the fifth best on the board, but his potential is he has the highest ceiling out of the remaining three quarterbacks on the board, in my opinion. Then we move on to number four. I think this is going to be a QB as well. I think it's going to be top four picks QBs, and Justin Fields back to Atlanta. He is probably the third best quarterback in the draft, fourth best prospect. Returning him back to Atlanta, I don't see any problem with that. This pick isn't easy. Isn't as easy as you think, because yes, you need to get Joe Burrow his protection after last year and his injury, and you need to protect your franchise guy, because look at Indianapolis. They didn't protect their franchise guy. He quit way too early. Well, he retired way too early because of it. But there is also a couple sensational talents at receiver and tight end that is really going to help him, and you can build offensive line throughout the draft. So here I'm going to go Kyle Pitts. Everybody knows if you watch Bengal, versatile weapon, can play outside, can play in the slot, can line up a tight end, can line up wherever you want him to. He's a beast. You can build up your O line. Is it going to be as good throughout the draft? And I think it's a pretty easy pick there. It's not an easy pick. You could easily go Penei Sewell or a Sean Slater, but I just don't think they. I'm going back and forth on it at the minute, but I'm going Kyle Pitts, and I'm just going to move off that because he is probably the number 2 prospect in this draft behind Trevor Lawrence. And then at number 6, you've had the Dolphins trade back and trade back up. This is obviously the Eagles' pick. I'm going to go Jamar Chase. I think he's the best receiver in this class. Then I think it's Waddle. Waddle, I don't think gets the credit he deserves for his route running. A lot of people just see him as a sort of Tyreek Hill, Burnham down the pitch. I'm calling it a pitch down the field. But he does have he is very polished in the route running game. Jamar Chase is just slightly better. You could easily see it being Jalen Waddle going here based on the fact. Well, you could easily see it being Devontae Smith based on the fact that he had that he was the only receiver out of these three to really play a proper season last year, and he has the most tape and obviously won the Heisman. But I don't think you're taking Devontae Smith after what he said about Tua and how he prefers Mac Jones. So Jamar Chase, I think, is just the best receiver in this class, taking away Kyle Pitts. On to number 7, you need a separator. You need somebody. You need somebody for Jared Goff to throw to. Now we're up. You need somebody for him to throw to. You lost Kenny Golladay in free agency. It's a pretty simple move here. You need a separator. They don't really have any other weapons. They don't have any weapons at all, really, at the team. So I think it's a pretty easy decision here to go with Jalen Waddle, who I think second best receiver in the class, taking away Kyle Pitts. Now we're on to 8. So QB seems out of the board. You just traded for Sam Darnold. You got good value for Darnold. Don't get me wrong. I think a second round pick next year, a 4th and a 6th. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good package for them. You've got receiving help. You need to sort out that offensive. You need a few issues on offensive line to sort out. Your defense isn't anything special. This could very easily just be a best player available situation. So it could be Patrick Surtain. But I do think it's going to be with Penei Sewell on the board and him being the best prospect at tackle, and he's going to be a superb tackle in the future. And you need to protect your new guy in Sam Darnold, see what he can do actually behind an offensive line. And I think we saw what Sam Darnold could do last year with I would very easily say the worst team in the NFL. I know a lot of people say the Jags. The Jags at least had stars on their team. The Jags still had Miles Jack. They still had DJ Shark in a way. They had James Robinson. They had bright spots. The Jets didn't have any bright spots at all, really, when you look at it. So I find it... I just want to see what he can do with a bit of help, with a bit of protection. Hang on, I'm just trying to... Bear with me for a second. We'll move on to the Broncos. Mac Jones has fallen here. He's fallen right into your lap. Drew Lock is not the guy. He's too cautious. He's just definitely not the guy. He's had his time. What has he had? 3 years. 3 years. I'm pretty sure he's not the guy. Move on. Mac Jones, insanely accurate with the football, and I don't know if he'll be your franchise guy, but he can certainly be a good enough quarterback, and he has the potential to be the franchise guy. So here we're going to go with a cornerback. Did I take a cornerback earlier? No, I didn't. Caleb Farley obviously has his concerns about his health, so this is a pretty simple situation. Patrick Surtain, without those health concerns and everything, he is the best corner in the draft now. after Caleb Farley's began to fall. JC Horn's still a very talented corner, and I don't see any problem with him here. Giants, you could easily say they need another. You could get another weapon in Devontae Smith for Danny Dimes to throw to and really try and prove himself. But your offensive line still needs help. Rashawn Slater can play tackle or interior. He's got that guard flexibility. And their offensive line still isn't set. And I think Rashawn Slater is the pick here. And then at number 12, the Eagles, who managed to trade down and still get a separate elite separator for Jalen Hurts to throw to and give him a proper chance at trying to prove he is the guy. Devontae Smith is an easy pick for the Eagles at 12 after moving back. On to 13, this is obviously going to be offensive line. This is easy going to be Christian Darrisaw is very much a possibility. I think Samuel Cosme is a lot better rating than 31. I think Liam Eichenberg will go in the first round. I think all of these guys will go in the first round. Let's go Tevin Jenkins for a bit of a mix-up. I like Tevin Jenkins. Good athlete, good player. But it's a pretty simple one. There's not much to say. It's not a pretty pick. Here we'll go. It's pretty obvious what you're going to go here. They need some sort of interior offensive line help. Elijah Veritaka's on the board. Can play tackle if you need him to, but he has to go into that interior offensive line. And he is the best interior offensive lineman in the class, and that is no question. Here, this one's easy as well. Micah Parsons, obviously falling for his personality concerns. But I think his fall stops at 15. Very, very talented linebacker. The Patriots need somebody to lead that defense. Micah Parsons could be that guy could run around the field. He's a very impactful linebacker, and they need to start getting some youth back on that defense along with JC Jackson. Number 16, JC Horn has fallen right into the Cardinals' laps, and I think it's an easy pick. Can play boundary. Very good corner second. You wouldn't say second based on talent in the draft, but you'd say he's second because Caleb Farley's injury concerns are a big issue for them. And I think it's a pretty easy pick there. And then we go Christian Darrisaw to the Raiders. They obviously lost a few good players offense. They pretty much dismantled their offensive line in free agency. They need to rebuild that up, and Christian Darrisaw is the way to do that. Is a good start. Now here, I think it's going to be Kwity Paye. Need edge help. You could go running back with Najee Harris, but Kwity Paye's on the board. I think he's the best edge in the class. Very athletic. Can get the bend what he needs to. He is probably the best. You could maybe go Azeez Ojulari, but not Azeez Ojulari. You could go Azeez Ojulari. He's just I like him as well, but I think Kwity Paye's the best. Jalen Phillips is the best talented wise, but I think his concussion concerns will cause him to drop down the board. Now we move on to Washington. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I know you need some offensive line help, but Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, very good linebacker. You need to, with Ryan Fitzpatrick, I don't think you're going to be winning games on offense. You need to stack up that defense. No quarterback on the board that you're really going to take. I think you need to stack that defense. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is the way to do that. Can play in the box, can play a bit of safety. Very, very talented linebacker. Moving on to 20, you need offensive line help here. In Chicago, you're in a tough spot. Alex Leatherwood also. These two both very talented as well. The top 5 here could really go. These two are sort of dropping down boards a bit. But I think this is a Sam Cosme spot. But you've got Andy Dalton. I don't think it's going to be much of a winning year for you. You're in a tough spot. And it's just not going to be a great year to be a Bears fan, I do not think. Here's a sort of tough position for the Indianapolis Colts. You do need some offensive line help. But you could go cornerback as well. Cornerback's a tough area to be in. But I'm not... As you can tell, I don't really prepare for these. you need to replace the retired. I really don't know because cornerback is actually a really big need for the Colts. But is it as big as a need as their offensive tackle? After Costanzo. You know what? You need to replace Costanzo. I really struggle to say his name. Liam Eichenberg, I guess. Here's an easy pick as well. A lot of cornerbacks are falling here because there's a lot of other picks. I think you go Caleb Farley. He does have some injury concerns, but if he doesn't, he's the second best corner in this draft, and I think it's a pretty easy pick. Here for the Jets, it's pretty much just best whoever's available, really, and I think you go No, I'm going to go Azeez Ojulari. Jalen Phillips still got those concussion concerns. Azeez Ojulari still a very talented edge rusher. Jets just need to go best available, really. They could go wide receiver and Rashad Bateman or Kadarius Toney to really try and give Zach Wilson a weapon, but they did sign. I want to say Corey Davis. Why am I being stupid about this? Let me just double check. Yeah, they did sign Corey Davis in free agency from the Tennessee Titans. So I think it's a pretty easy position to pick there. Again, you could go offensive tackle here, but I don't know if I will. There's still corners on the board. This is a tough pick for me. I do very much like Eric Stokes. I like Tyson Campbell as well out of Georgia. Boundary guy. Eric Stokes is a very much boundary guy. We're going to go Greg Newsome. Just there's a lot of problems with the Steelers, despite them going wherever it was like 13-0 at one point or 12-0. They've got a lot of problems on that team, and they're gonna have to hope Greg Newsome sorts it out. Who I do think is a very talented corner. It's just Steelers are a tough team to really pick for. Here for the Jags. I'm a Jags fan, and if Trayvon Moehrig is on the board and we don't take him, I'm gonna be fuming. I think he's the best safety in this class without a doubt for me. You've seen what Tyrann Mathieu does for the Chiefs, and I think Trayvon Moehrig could be that sort of player in the Jags secondary. Remember, the Jags' best safety at the minute is Andrew Wingard. It's not an ideal situation to be in. To the Browns, it's an easy pick. You need somebody off the right end or a left, varying on where you end up playing Myles Garrett. But I think Jalen Phillips is the guy to go on edge rush, get pressure from both sides. Very talented. Jalen Phillips, probably the best edge rusher in the class. Issue is he's got health concerns with all his concussion. Baltimore, Jason Owe is a pretty simple pick. They don't get any pressure on the quarterback. Really, they're just a really poor team. I don't want to say poor team defensively, but pressure-wise, they are almost as bad as the Tennessee Titans. But Tennessee traded away, got rid of their corners, lost their corners through free agency, so they need to go big there. The Saints are in a tough spot. They do need a receiver bad. And they could easily go Terrace Marshall, and I think they will. Terrace Marshall had a great pro day, and I'm just going to roll with him. It could be any of the top three, any of the three left on the board of Rashad Bateman, Kadarius Toney, or Terrace Marshall, and I'm just going to take Terrace Marshall here. Packers, they do need linebacking help, and I think Nick Bolton is going to be their guy. Need to learn how to stop the run, really. Wasn't great from the run stopping defensively last season. I know you need some offensive help as well for Aaron Rodgers, but we'll go Nick Bolton. To the Bills, I'm going to have Najee Harris. I think the Bills could easily be the best team in the NFL next season, apart from maybe the Buccaneers. But I'm not a big fan of Devin Singletary as their lead back, and I think Najee Harris, best running back in the class, is going to be the guy. Chiefs need to continue rebuilding that offensive line, which they dismantled during free agency. Alex Leatherwood going to be the guy. Pretty easy, plain pick for me there. Najee Harris, I just sort of glazed over, but he is a top running back in this class. The difference between him and Travis Etienne is that speed. Najee Harris is going to get you 4 or 5 yards to carry. Travis Etienne could have 2 yards to carry all game, but he could then run 90 yards to the house. It's really either way. And speaking of Travis Etienne, I think he's going to go here. They did re-sign Leonard Fournette, I believe, but Tampa Bay, they're in a position where they can just go best player available. He's dominant running back. Travis Etienne out of Clemson. I watched him a bit last year because I'm a Clemson fan. It's mainly for the color orange, but yeah, that's my mock draft post Sam Darnold. I think I shared my thoughts on Sam Darnold at the start, so I won't go over it again. But I just think that is a right move for Carolina. I think they've pulled off a good, big trade for their future. Remember, Sam Darnold is only 23 and he didn't really have much to work with in New York. So yeah, that's going to be my mock draft. Thank you guys for watching. There has been a lot of mock drafts on this channel, but I'm sort of lacking ideas at the minute, so it's going to be a lot of these until, I want to say, April 29th. I think I'm taking the Friday off school to watch it, so we're going to watch it. I might live stream it on this channel, my reactions to Trevor Lawrence and what I hope to be Trayvon Marek. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave any comments for anything you want to do, anything you want me to do, on this channel. But yeah, apart from that, thank you guys for watching. Peace out.